We're going to do fairy tarot cards and talk about today's Venus and Pleiadian porthole or alignment. Just give me a couple of minutes to get this video set up and shared out. If you're just finding me, go ahead and leave a comment. Take a second to say hi. Connect with the energies, especially if you're trying to get cards and things like that. Make sure you're also hitting the share button. So if you're trying to get a card, make sure that you have shared this out and left a comment. Now I love it because we're kicking off a new month, first day of July, with that Pleiadian gateway, which I think is amazing. And we'll talk about these energies. Make sure you guys are hitting that share button now. And I was kind of checking this deck out last night by myself that I brought. We're going to do this deck. I've had it before in the past, but we'll go ahead and check this out. All right, make sure you guys are sharing this out so we can get started. All right, so today is a huge Pleiadian day, and then of course with Venus in the mix, this acts as a divine transmitter. Venus is always a heart chakra porthole, and when we're dealing with Pleiadian energies, this is helping us with our spiritual awakening and ascension into the 5D. It brings a lot of healing for the heart chakra, the higher heart chakra, and healing your 5D template. You can expect you're probably going to be feeling it in the heart chakra today and kind of going through a lot of upgrades. I was talking a little bit about July is going to bring some massive upgrades. So today, of course, we have our Pleiadian gateway, and then the 2nd till the 7th, which is tomorrow, we kick off the Sirius gateway, which will kind of peak for the 7-7 porthole. But I was noticing July has 10 consecutive galactic activation porthole days. We've had a few here and there in the previous months, but we're going to have 10 days in a row, and this can get a little bit intense and bring a lot of upgrades. So this month is about to get real galactic. Doesn't surprise me because it's preparing us for next month for the Lion's Gate porthole and things like that too, and it's very much needed too. And these galactic energies are always amazing. Now with today's energy, don't be surprised, and we could say in general, if karmic situations might be coming up. Especially I was like kind of tapping into this, especially some karmic connections that are literally held together by the karma when you heal it and release it. This is why sometimes some karmic connections have to go on some level, and I'm bringing that up because when we deal with Pleiadian energies, it's always here to help us to release old templates and even karmic imprints on some type of level. So things might be kind of coming up in these galactic energies. Okay, we're going to do these fairy tarot cards today. Make sure you guys are checking out my website, sparksofdivinelighthealing.com. I have tons of healings, clearings, and activations that'll really, really help you with your spiritual awakening. You have to kind of go with what is guided to on my website, but I do have a search bar if you're looking for something in particular. I also do psychic and medium readings, and I also teach classes like Reiki and Sakam. If you're needing me, make sure you're booking me on my website. I have a lot of really good healings up for today, and of course for the Sirius Gateway. I do have everything through the 7-7 porthole up on my site right now too, so make sure you guys are checking it out and booking me on there. If you guys are able to sign up and be a supporter or send PayPal donations or stars, please do. It helps to keep this page going, and I always really, really need it. So if you're sending stars, I'm going to try to give you a psychic shout out. Sorry, the cards are going weird already. Hold on. Okay. I see Lena. The cards are like all over. They're new. They're sticky. Okay, Lena. Make sure you guys have also left a comment and shared this out. We have 6 of Summer. Children or childhood. The return of people or romances from your past. Remembering events differently in a better or more or worse light than how they occurred. Okay, so I love this because with Ascension and Awakening, we are literally processing our past, not just once, probably 100 times, just to get real. Like, and we're in retrograde. Well, not yet, but we're in pre-retrograde. So this means there's certain themes that are going to come up that may need healed in your life. And so this is why sometimes past stuff can come up, especially if you're thinking about the past. I always say to pay attention to the past. Sometimes this could indicate actual children in your life and something going on there. Or sometimes it's inner child healing, one and the same, by the way, right? Okay, so it just kind of depends on that, but this is like past memories or energies or even imprints that need to go kind of coming up. Sorry, my cat's been really awful today. Okay, So anyways, this is healing something from your past. Perhaps this is your own inner child or something that is coming up currently. Pay attention to your thoughts or guiding you through this experience. But I really feel, and I talk about this with awakening, it's like everything is going to come up so many times, especially if it's an area that may need looked at again or even healed. So sometimes we go through trauma, especially inner child trauma, and we're not able to process it, especially when you weren't able to acknowledge that trauma in some type of way. And it can come back up if we haven't healed something fully, and usually in our connections or our personal situations in some type of way. And it just kind of depends on that level. Now, oftentimes we're not able to fully process everything we've been through because until we hit that space of awakening, because you're needing to, we're having to release all of our earthly karma and everything that we've been through for our spiritual journey and our soul's journey to make this ascension. So you thought you've been through something in the past and it's something traumatic, but with awakening, you're going to have to go back into some of these areas and not just to sit around and think about it, to actually heal them and clear things on the energy level too. So this is really a heart chakra card, but also an inner child kind of message. Let's see. Angela, Princess of Winter. Inquisitive, truthful, realistic, and undiplomatic. This is information that can help you, but which also can be difficult to hear. Speaking the truth with kindness, an indigo child or adult. And I love this because it depends on your age range, but a lot of you guys probably wore indigo starseeds. And I was kind of tapping into this the other day. I was kind of, not to be making jokes or anything, like we've literally been through so much, that indigo wave. And right, and I'm like, okay, we've been here for the breaking down, and this is what you might feel like within yourself, society. We've been here for the crumbling, the breaking down, the letting go of old systems, beliefs, and narratives, and everything that indigos have been through to this point. And I kind of joke around with my own spirit guides as I have conversations and get information from them. And I was kind of saying, okay, I'm kind of done here. And they're like, this is not what you came here for, indigos. You're going to help with the rebuilding now. And so you might feel like, you've had a lot of breaking down in your life and things not working. And, this is like systematically and on the collective level. And we have yet to create the new earth on that collective level. This is actually what you signed up for. You did not come here for everything that didn't work out and you had to let go of and release and everything that you've been through. And so this is like such an indigo starseed. And I love this because, and I see this with the work I do, that everyone loves to be tiptoed around, except in their relationships, right? Everyone loves that they want everything sugar-coated. They don't want to hear anything negative. It could be like you're going through, and we talked about with this indigo messages, hopefully in the past, you've been through some, we'll call it the tower moments of everything falling in, losing everything, everything not working out, losing people you loved, and all of this stuff that you've been through. Yeah. Not wanting to face that truth and not wanting to hear that. It's like you could be like, your whole planet's on fire and it's like someone's telling you and you don't want to hear it kind of deal. But sometimes we need to hear the truth about ourselves, our situation, whatever it is. But it could be hard to hear and process at that time. I'm always really like delicate and people get triggered anyway. And I'm like trying to delicately, filter through information and stuff like that. Maybe there's some type of, whether this is downloads, is someone telling you things, however you're getting this information, your spirit guides you might feel like they're kind of, no filter giving it to you during this time to let you know something about yourself, your life, you're moving through. And it isn't all love and light. Actually, it's a lot of shadow work and like facing that and letting go of limitations and blocks. And with today's energy, it's perfect because this is letting go of self-worth issues and seeing yourself fully in your highest light, especially as a starseed. This person getting this reading is an indigo starseed, and this could go for you too, that you have gifts and maybe you're able to tap into things. And one thing I love about indigo starseeds, they can process the truth like no one else. And so if we have a lot of things that are not, they're illusion. We're living in a world based on illusion. I could go into Hollywood and all of this stuff, and it's not real. It's a lot of it's, fluff. We'll call it. I have to be careful of my videos. saying it's fluff, right? So you're able to kind of, once you've opened your third eye and activated yourself as a starseed, you're able to cut through that and tell whether this is on a collective level, things being sold and packaged to you collectively, or on an individual level, you know, someone's not being truthful for you, someone doesn't have good intentions. You're going to suss it out. You're going to be able to tell. You're going to be like, this feels off. I don't know. I just had a feeling, you know, and these are starseed gifts too, and learning how to kind of integrate that too. So maybe you're someone who's really, really honest with your friends, or needing to hear that honesty back at a certain point to kind of get through your situations. And so this is hard work if we didn't notice. We see that from the first half of our lives. As we go into the second, a lot of the indigos that are here on planet Earth, you're here for the awakening. You're here to clear anything no longer resonating, and not to hold on to the old on that level, and to keep, I say trekking, keep moving forward towards the new. You've done so much clearing work, and this, I mean individually too, not just collectively. I just tune that out a lot of the time. I'm like, okay, there's billions of people, let them do them. But I mean individually, you're at a place where maybe you've been rebuilding your life. You might be ready to rebuild your life. You're ready to bring in what is in alignment. You've let go of all of this stuff in your past, karmic stuff, right? And you're ready to kind of rebuild from this higher place of truth and alignment. Now, as a starseed, this is where we create the 5D and create a 5D reality after being through a lot of the 3D as well too. So this is such a starseed message to kind of lean into it, kind of step into it for you. Let's do, hang on, I'm having a hard time with the comments. Sally Francis. Queen of Winter, strong, patient, self-sufficient, and funny. Let go of people or things that no longer serve you. Now is the time to focus on your career. And so sometimes this could be also relationship stuff too. So this could be, it doesn't have to be, but sometimes this could indicate singlehood or being single, or it could be not married, or even divorce is on the card too. And I really like these messages too. So you're being guided to let go of old situations. Now, doing this ascension work, a lot of times people are, the 3D is your old self and your old life, and it's everything you kind of built, as I say, not in alignment, and the 5D is going to be your new self. It's like your 5D self, who you've become after going through that space. So like, it's literally like, I always describe it like dimensions, and you're in the 3D when you're asleep. You go through a spiritual awakening and you tip into the 4D, and we want to be anchored into the 5D, and that space in between is the space we do the ascension work to raise up our frequency, to clear our karma, to let go of things. And usually you've already been through it, because your life kind of takes a trajectory once you wake up, but you do a lot of processing on the energy level. This is why I'm always like, healing, clearing, right, will help a lot. And so you're having to let go of your entire, we'll call it a timeline, old life, old identities, versions of yourself, and to kind of integrate into this 5D version of yourself, this upgraded version of yourself. And so a lot of times people have a hard time letting go of the old, and I see that collectively with a lot that's happening too. We're having to let go of things on a collective level. And so maybe this is something has ended recently. This could be, it doesn't have to be romantic. We see this with karmic connections of all time, family, friends, connections no longer resonating, and you won't be able to figure it out. You're like, oh, I was really close with this person for years and years, and suddenly, you know, they're not talking to me. Like, they fell off my timeline. There's not that resonance there anymore. It's hard to connect, or, you know, whatever it is. You're going to notice that as you're doing the work and your frequency is changing, your resonance is changing too, and that you're having to let go of, like I said, old versions of yourself, and even old identities, and maybe even old connections that you're outgrowing. And the reason why is because, and this is my message for the Pleiadian Gateway, that a lot of our connections, we might not understand what has brought us together in the original lessons. They might be karma based, and when you work off and clear your karma and what you're here to heal in a connection, the connection may go too. And when we're talking romantic relationships, so wouldn't that be amazing if right from the bat you knew, you know, what you're here to work on? Hi, I'm here to work on my karma around abandonment, trust issues, inner wounds, you know, and, you know, negative karma from my past that I'm bringing into the connection. But a lot of times people are not aware. However, oftentimes we're working through things. And so this is why we see within the awakening, the nature of how we connect, our connections are changing, and who we're connected to and connecting with are also changing in these higher energies. This is a little bit of a message about maybe focusing on yourself and your own, if it's work or career, career or how you're making money, how you're generating, I like that word, how you're generating income or money, you might be guided to focus on these areas of your own life right now, and it'll be really, really beneficial. Let's do Rose Claire, Ace of Autumn, a windfall of money, advice, and assistance from others, a very successful project, a happy change in your career. And I love this too, because sometimes we have so much to be blessed for as we're going through these upgrades alone. And sometimes we don't think of that. We're like, oh. And this is what it's about, these ascension upgrades, awakening, how you're changing. And this could be your energy changing in a very, very positive way, holding a higher frequency. And sometimes we're not seeing that because we need to really focus on the spiritual and spiritual energies during this time. So we're having to shift away from the material. A lot of you guys, you're not even here for that 3D experience. You're here for the awakening. You're here to ascend again, helping the planet on a greater level as you're able to anchor in these higher frequencies too. So this is a very positive message. And I love this because sometimes I always think of like inheritance, winds coming, maybe a new project that could bring you a lot of abundance. And this could be something that you've been guided to do, to really focus on maybe your spiritual gifts or a new project or a new endeavor or whatever it is, and being very, very prosperous and very, very beneficial to you in some type of way. Now I love this card too because it could just be having the right people around you and getting assistance in the right places, and sometimes we kind of overlook that, by the way. And I love that because it's such a Pleiadian message. The Pleiadians are helping us, but they're not going to interfere as well too, but they're here as teachers and guides and putting out information to help the planet during this time in subtle ways. And some of you guys are finding that, by the way, a good example, right? Some of you guys are finding that to help educate you and help you with this change that's happening and shift into the 5D. So some of you guys are learning by different means, and it could be, you know, following your favorite spiritual page and they just popped up one day and you found them, or, you know, you've been guided to, through your downloads, go research certain topics or go watch some YouTube videos. And I mean about awakening, ascension, the 5D, healing, and kind of learning this stuff, and that you guys have found it in some type of way when you're meant to. Notice when you were asleep, you probably didn't see much of it. You're in another dimension. You're in a completely different dimension, not available. And as you raise up your frequency, more and more is going to be available. So this is also having the right energies and assistance around you. And sometimes this could be here on earth, but also remember the spiritual too, and having the right spiritual help and assistance to guide you. So also for this person, pay attention to your inner guidance if it's guiding you to a new project, because sometimes you don't even see that, you know, starting something new and doing something, and this could be like creative project or, you know, work project, whatever it is, can really, really help you with anchoring that abundance in. Sam Beadle, King of Winter, knowledgeable, experienced, fair-minded, and unemotional. Get advice from someone professional and objective. This is public speaking, and so sometimes this is unconventional relationships, and I love this too. Maybe needing some guidance, right? I'm like, hello, what do you, right? Okay, maybe needing some guidance or to go a little bit deeper in this. And I know it must be scary because I'm always like, okay, there's this like disconnect, right? But it's not meant to be at all. Scary sitting alone with the same problems, not changing a year later, right? And then sometimes when we go in and heal, it releases issues, by the way. So if there's something coming up or you need some guidance, you know where to find me. But also turn to your spirit guides. I'm going to give you twofold messages, right? Turn to your spirit guides as well too, because sometimes they're giving you guys guidance of like, you know, whatever it is, especially when it comes to the healing and things like that too. So also paying attention to your spirit guides if they're guiding you to go a little bit deeper within your own ascension or healing or awakening on some type of level. If you got problems, and this is, don't go to your friends. I mean that in a nice way. like right? Don't go to, I call it the chat bot. Don't go to the chat bot. People are going to the chat bot, or their friends that are, you know, they don't really know how to navigate this, and they mean well, and they're giving you advice, but you know what I mean? So sometimes it's better to get professional advice, by the way, people that can help you through this process that you're going through, because yes, it can get messy, and sometimes you're needing that guidance too. Don't be afraid to get help. I said that in my, I don't know why it kept coming up in another message. I did the little videos I'll put up later, and it's been coming up a lot lately though too. That can really help you with your journey. Priscilla, Two of Spring, A bright future manifested through hard work and creativity. Partner with others who share your dreams. Great progress being made. And I love this because I believe we manifest everything, which is the scariest thing to me. It's the double-edged sword. It's both a blessing and sometimes can be a curse if we haven't done that inner work to manifest it. But you're always protected. You're always good. That's why we're actually on Earth. It's like a little bit like, before you're going to go to space on an astronaut mission, they're probably going to have you practice a little bit in their little, call it a lab, their little area they have set up. So you're contained and you're good and you're practicing. And that is exactly what Earth is. By the way, it's a school so that we can practice and we can learn how to master our manifestation gifts and abilities. And that's why we see a lot of work about that too. We manifest everything. So this means that little seeds that you're planting, I want this to happen. This is my dream. This is my goal. And just planting them and putting them out there. I do a lot of that with the work I do, by the way. And planting seeds is powerful because these things are going to come into fruition and they're going to manifest. And so this is also focusing on your manifesting abilities and then finding people that can help you bring through these dreams. I don't know what they are because it's going to be a little bit different for everyone. Like I always say, you're here to create your dream life here on planet Earth, and it might look a little bit different for you and what life you envision living and what you want your dream life to look like. That's your 5D reality, by the way. It's not some dream that's far away. It's you anchoring into your 5D timelines and actually, getting there within your blueprint. And so sometimes it starts out as like a vision, an idea. I'd really love to be living here doing this or doing whatever work or whatever. And to pay attention because these are powerful guides nudging you forward on your path, showing you where you're meant to anchor into in the 5D too. So really connecting with your manifesting gifts and abilities. And you can do so much with just 5-10 minutes a day visualization and focusing on, these dreams, goals. This will help keep you uplifted on this planet. We need all that we can get, right? That you actually have something to look forward to, not all doom and gloom or whatever it is. I say we're being packaged up and sold nowadays, but to actually have like personal goals and ambition. And when you start to go after these goals, it'll make you a more motivated, positive, intentional person too. So we're always putting out intentions probably all the time. And sometimes we do realize that or we don't realize that. Getting more intentional and really practicing with your manifesting gifts and abilities. So I just call it a reading option, but I do calls with you guys. And I help you to clear blocks and energies and pinpoint patterns that might be kind of coming up. And I help you to kind of anchor into these higher timelines with the work that I do. And so you're being guided to really tap into your manifesting gifts and abilities, which it can come down to healing and letting go of limitations and beliefs and blocks. Because the 5D is something that we create through manifestation. So you're being guided to really work with the energies of the third eye, very connected to the mind and the thoughts and also materializing things. Let's do Clarissa Hall. The world, a brilliant success, the freedom to go in any direction, a journey that is now complete. So when we're on I call it the 3D, which is actually, we call it the karmic wheel. You're kind of going round and round and you'll be like, oh, I've got this great project idea. We talked about all this good stuff, the 5D stuff. And it can feel like there are forces that are bringing in people, situations, or stuff that you need to work on and work through. So it can be very hard, right, to kind of get where you need to be while you're still working through karma or clearing karmic connections or situations. Once you release that, you're free in a way that people could grasp. And this is what it's all about: freedom, sovereignty, getting in alignment, getting self-sufficient in certain ways, or healing issues that were kind of keeping us like codependent or acting out karmic wounds, patterns, or even cycles. And then we can really, really step into or shift into the 5D where you have so many options. This can be a little unnerving even to navigate because your life can go in any direction. Sick of things today, tomorrow you can always make a shift. Or, you have so many options and so many things that you can do when you're navigating your experience from that place of the 5D. The only holdbacks we have are generally karmic. So this is why we learn, okay, well, I don't want to continue to make that, so I don't have to deal with it later in these cycles. So you get a little bit more intentional about how you're living and a little bit more alignment with yourself. And this is like, if you feel like you haven't had a lot of options, this could be mindset when I'm tapping into this message, because you have so many opportunities. And I was explaining to someone in a call, I think the other day, that opportunities are like a door opening, and it's a little bit like, oh, my friend offered me to do this, or someone, or the employer. And if you say no, you're closing that door, and you won't get an opportunity to do that like that in that moment. You could get more of the same in the future. And so I think it's important too that we are jumping on opportunities as we have them, because there are many doors. I told this person, there's probably 1,000 doors that will open moving forward in the future, and maybe some of them, I don't feel like it, right? And sometimes we're not as open as we think with opportunity. And yes, maybe you can get the chance again, but maybe not. And so as these, we call them cups, as these cups are being presented to you, I think it's important that you're allowing your intuition to guide you, and that if you have a chance to do something, you're doing it. Because your soul put in these little soul plan provisions, and I can make some bad examples up. You had a chance to go to the roller coaster, or skydiving, or scuba diving, and you didn't want to do any of them. And I guess you don't do that here on earth in this life. You shut them out. I don't feel like it. But if you go, you're able to live like a really full life and do this stuff. And so your soul made sure in your life plan and your soul plan that it would put in all these little opportunities for you, just in case you wanted to go see the roller coaster. Your friend asked, it's for tomorrow, and maybe you want to go, maybe you don't. That's up to you. But also staying open to opportunities, because you have a lot of future opportunities coming at you, and it's up to you to decide what you want to do and to navigate. And this is also for options of where you want your life to take you. Every choice splits us in a different direction. Better choices, better directions, right? So make sure you're making good choices and navigating your path from a space of intuition, getting intentional about where you want life to take you, but also staying open to opportunities if there's something you want to do and they're aligned with you. Let's do Pam Gilmore. Prince of Winter, intellect, determined, focused, and impulsive. Seek out an intellectual solution to your problem. The need to act quickly and decisively. Sudden or unexpected changes. Welcome to Earth 2025, right? And this is amazing because we're going to see a lot of progress over the next 6 months. So this could be an issue that you're dealing with. Sometimes we're aware of it, okay, I got some issues going on. I can do the usual list from trauma, right? But I'm not going to. You guys listen to me enough, I hope, right? And it could be, that's conscious awareness. Okay, I got a problem, maybe with my finances, relationships, right? Something trauma-based, whatever, my mindset. Okay, those might be on your awareness. So we have that level. A lot of times people are navigating, I don't want to call them hidden issues, unconscious issues. They're playing out a pattern but don't notice it. And it has to get real loud sometimes to get our attention. And that's a little bit on the unconscious level. So sometimes this could be okay, I got a problem. I'm real consciously aware of it. I've been a little stressed. Anything stressing you out? A little stressed lately. I got this I'm trying to deal with or heal or whatever, or release. And then of course there's the unconscious. This is the asleep level, right? In ways that we need to wake up more and notice, because if we don't notice the problem, the elephant in the room, how are we going to heal it? And so sometimes awakening is a blessing, obviously, so that we can become more consciously aware of maybe our patterns, problems, and what we need to work through. If something's been stressing you out lately, can bring a healing to anything. I don't even care. Anything, literally anything in your life. So maybe needing to bring some healing to a certain area of your life if you've been stressed or dealing with something stressful coming up for you lately. And I always remind you guys, energy healing for that on my site. Anything, need to shift something, having an issue, that's what I'm here for as well too. So if you've been kind of stressed out or navigating an issue, energy healing would work really good for that. But also being mindful of it and kind of aware of it, because we don't like that, but it helps us to bring healing to certain areas. So sometimes we have to acknowledge we might need healing in an area. I always say one good example of that is just getting sick of living in certain cycles or dealing with certain things can be really, really helpful in making a shift. And we're noticing that. We were real comfortable in the 3D for 5,000 years. Right? Suddenly energies are going high and we're wanting more. And that's okay, because we're breaking down a lot of old programs and limitations. And that's one thing that kind of comes out of the awakening, that you'll probably want more. I see Sarah. 10 of Winter, the resolution to difficulties, a weight lifted off your shoulder, and the end of addictions or codependency. And we realize that a lot of toxic relationships are based on this, whether it's not wanting to be alone, filling some type of void or wound we didn't even know we had because the wound attracted the person for us to work it out. And so this is a healing in that area. And sometimes addiction, it could literally be like overspending, shopping, like it's actually an emotional issue, because sometimes it's how you cope. So codependency is literally using another person to feel better or to lean on because we don't feel whole and complete on our own, and this person completes us. Or even like addiction, it could be that obvious, like an actual substance addiction. But this could also be how we cope with things and how we cope with underlying trauma. Instead of healing it and fixing it, we're always trying to tape it together and make ourselves feel better in unhealthy ways, or ways that can become unhealthy to us. And this is the time where we clear all of that out, because this is very family healing card. This message of things you might have picked up through your bloodline, and it just can kind of depend. There's just so many things that can go into this category. So it's a healing happening and a clearing out of these things, which is everything we're here to work through on earth, if we didn't notice, in so many different ways on the energy level too. So maybe you've been doing a lot of healing in some of these areas within yourself to get more self-sufficient and secure, or get back on your feet, or even unhealthy coping mechanisms. Yogash, renewal. Let go of the past. So review the past and present so you can plume into the bright new future. Understanding your life purpose, releasing judgments of yourself and others. And so a lot of this work we do that we're doing with awakening, it reminds me of the other side process. I always talk about that. Like, it's very, the lines get really blurred in higher energies. That's what you do when you die. You're going to go through your life review and, you know, things like that. But we're doing this awake here on earth. I wrote a lot about this in my books. If you want to read what was coming up for me, that was the first thing I remember right when I woke up, of seeing the higher view of your connections, but the role that you played and things that you might need to heal or atone for, or just heal within yourself, are coming up. And usually everyone's gone at that point. It's like stuff from a million years ago or from the past might surface, and in many different ways. So we go through a life review, and this is where a lot of you guys might be going through this process. It doesn't just happen once. It could come up over and over. It just kind of depends. That there's like certain layers of, you know, this awakening too. So something you need to let go of from your past and review. This can bring a lot of healing karmically though. If there's something that you're stuck on, and, you know, maybe seeing that higher perspective that we might not get. You can go through this 3D experience with, you know, other people or groups of souls, and it's one thing. And then you awaken and you get all this knowledge, higher perspective. You're seeing all of this stuff between other people and what they're feeling, empathy, right? What they're going through, or what, you know, they felt from this. And you're kind of seeing all of those different perspectives and things like that too. The more that we can let go of our past, we're able to let go of the attachments from opening up. And so some of you guys like might be in a space of healing, and that space, it could last for years. It could last 5 minutes. It could last years, but generally it does last years. That you're in a space of healing, and I feel a lot of the planet will be there too. If they're not awake yet, they're going to kind of join in that. And you might be like in this space of healing and doing that self-work, which can go on and on because it's the ascension process, and it takes a lot of inner work and kind of working on yourself. And so maybe you're healing a lot from your past, and we need to, or we continue to recycle things. So the more that you can heal your past and let go of things, you're going to really, really open up to that 5D future that we talked about, and amazing things happening, and letting go of the blocks or the hurt or the karma left over. And so sometimes you might have obviously worked off the karma already in the lessons, but karmic residue and things on the energetic level that still need released or healed in some type of way. Try to let go of the past. I talk a lot about that. Let's do David Curtin. 9 of Winter. Okay, unfounded fear, focusing on worst case scenarios and allowing worry to grow out of proportion to the problem. And this is our brain, and I love this because I was like seeing something that our brain can't tell the difference. So when you sit around and think about anything all day, whatever it is, positive or negative, it can't tell the difference between television either. I'm not going to go there, right? Oh my God, it's literally the same. You're watching that. Not you, I'm just saying toxic television show that's really graphic because it's Netflix. That's what's on there. And we've been desensitized, and you're watching it, we'll just say some horror realm movie or whatever. it's literally like you're in the room in that scenario. So even though it's made up and fake to us, it's just a TV show, your mind doesn't see it that way, and it's imprinting you and changing you. It's like why you could watch a really scary movie and you don't forget it. It's part of you, as they say. But the same goes for our thoughts. So when you're sitting around thinking good things, if you can get in that alignment, by the way, your mind actually thinks it's happening. So if you have a manifestation that you want to bring through, and I always bring up bad examples, it's the boat you've been dying for. You sit around and you should picture you're driving the speedboat all day. You love it. It's amazing. You're boating. You're in paradise. And you start to picture it. That will bring that into your reality. You know, lack and limitations aside, it's going to freaking happen. Or the negative stuff, you sit there and you think about worst case scenario. That's me right there. Worst case scenario. This is earth placements big time. Worst case scenario, doom and gloom, you know, all of this stuff. And, you know, that's actually happening. Your brain is creating stress and chemicals that, you know, are very, very complex, and you're experiencing it. That's why we get instantly stressed out. You start to picture something real negative and your body might feel it or whatever. And so it's important to realize that our brain and our third eye are so wired up to our actual reality. So this is like, and I had someone teach me this that's me. I'm like, okay, I'm always like assessing this, like, okay, worst case, this could happen, but at least I'm prepped for it. But to deal with challenges as they come, not to sit around and stress yourself out all day, like trying to pinpoint what could come up next on this planet. I've had every experience ever, right? What possibly could go wrong? And to focus more on the positive too, because it creates unnecessary stress and cortisol. And that's like a big thing that oftentimes when we are stressed out, and this could be in, you know, everyday life, welcome to planet Earth 2025, maybe even if we're dealing with something toxic, something stressful, our body loves to pump out cortisol, which is the stress hormone. This is why you get an adrenaline boost and you feel really not good. It could take, like, you could be fine all day and something stressful happens and you'll feel it in your entire body. And, you know, that can really, really affect us. So we're needing to de-stress. A lot of illnesses caused by stress, a lot of negativity and stuff like that too. So not to go into fear, and easier said than done, because we have a lot of uncertainty. I feel like, and I'm going to put this there because I was kind of posting about a lot of our trauma goes further back than this lifetime. And I feel right here, 2025 Earth, especially America, that we are getting a do-over from Atlantis. And I think we all lived there and understand that. And we're seeing the same things right now that are coming out that are going to probably put us in a different kind of future, and that's okay. But I feel it's almost like a redo. So we're kind of experiencing past trauma, not realizing it sometimes. And I think it's very important, the choices that we're going to make collectively moving forward too. And this is where some of the fear comes from way deep in the past lifetimes of how things went and stuff like that too, where humanity's been living in a lot of fear. I realize that about everyone and everything. And sometimes fear is our biggest block, and worrying and stress and stuff like that. So letting go of the fear, and I've seen a lot of people feel a little uncertain with the times and how things are going or how things are progressing, and that's okay. Just root chakra work, feeling more grounded and secure in your own energy, because I think that's a lot of what we're learning, not to base our security on money, the material, but energetically and how grounded we are within ourselves, so we can better handle whatever curveballs life may throw at us, and to feel more within our own energy. So we're learning how to make home in a different place. I'm not saying we're not making home as well, but we're learning how to make it within our own bodies, our own self, to be more secure and, you know, feeling better. This could be like confidence or just, you know, letting go of fear. Jill, Ace of Summer, open your heart to love, the beginning of a new intimate relationship or the rebirth of a current one, the awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual epiphanies. And I love this too. So depends on your relationship status, right? Get at me. Depends if you're in a connection. This is like bringing new energy into it and kind of, you know, bringing an upgrade to it, especially as our relationships mirror our own energy and things going on within ourselves. So if you're going through an awakening and really working on yourself, your relationship will reflect the progress that you're making. Or if you're single, this is a really good message about getting a more aligned connection less karmic based. We're seeing a lot of really beautiful soulmate and twin flame unions, and a better vibe within these connections, and not trying to force together things on a karmic level, but out of true love and things like that too. And this is also your awakening, bringing through powerful spiritual gifts and abilities connected to a relationship. So if you're in a relationship now, this could be playing an important role in yourself and your gifts and your awakening. Single, get ready, because this is going to help kind of bring your gifts online more and to really amplify them in some type of way. Okay, I'm going on that note, but I'm around if you guys need me. You can book me on my website. I have lots of beautiful, we're doing Pleiadian Day today, lots of beautiful Pleiadian and galactic healings on my site for today. You can do anything in my shop all of the time anyways if it's up there. Have a beautiful day.